Welcome to the walkthrough video for GCSE History, Paper 2, Question 2. Here we are focusing on Question 2, looking at how the question is constructed, how to answer it, and tips on what makes a good answer. We have other videos available for this paper and for each question in detail. So, Question 2 is focused on analytical narrative and is assessing a mix of concepts including causation, consequence, and change. This means you should try and focus on the way in which events unfolded in a coherent, often chronological, order. You will need to demonstrate an understanding that events do not occur in isolation, but unfold as a consequence of what has gone before. This question is worth 8 marks, and you should spend around 12 minutes on it, or 15 if you have extra time. Let's take a look at the question. It always begins, write a narrative account analysing. If there are dates in the question, try and make sure that your answer covers the full range. Also though, careful not to write about events outside of the dates in question. You have 2 stimulus points. They serve a different purpose to those on other questions. They will be useful signposts here to you along the date range of the narrative. You don't have to use them, but you must make sure you cover at least 3 aspects of content leading to an outcome. What is an analytical narrative? Well, in this non-history example, see this narrative. The events are in the correct order, but are not linked. Therefore, it is not an analytical narrative, and what is missing is the links between these events. So let's turn it into an analytical narrative. So here, the first bit, I forgot to set my alarm, adding in the analytical link, which meant that I did not wake up. Consequently, I overslept. Now we've linked the events together with a sense of beginning, development and end. It's clear how each step of the narrative links to the next. It's in a coherent and logical order, and notice particularly the language being used. Let's apply this to a superpowers question. Write a narrative account analysing US-Soviet relations in the years 1945 to 47. The 2 stimulus points you may use are Yalta Conference 1945 and Cominform 1947. Here is an extract from a top performing answer. Well, which part of the narrative is this? How can we tell? The candidate has nicely signposted at the beginning of their answer saying firstly, so this is the beginning of their narrative. They also use the first stimulus point that was offered to them of Yalta 1945, so they are at the beginning of the date range of the question. Now let's look at how the narrative has been linked together. They've used some really clear analytical linking phrases here in their answer. This meant that they had a common goal. However, the US deployed the atomic bomb. This led to the beginning of the arms race as the Soviet Union, etc. This shows a real clear linkage between the events. Then, looking at the information included, the candidate has used accurate and relevant information, showing a really good knowledge and understanding of the period. They've written in a coherent order. They've gone from Yalta to the use of the atomic bombs to the beginning of the arms race. So what they need to do now, though, is continue their answer. They need to go up to the end of the date range, 1947, given in the question, and ensure that they cover at least 3 aspects of content. Here are some sample question 2s for all of the options for this paper. They may be useful for you to practice. So what makes a good answer? The examiner is looking for that the events and development in your narrative are linked together, showing a clear sequence, that you use accurate information, and that 3 aspects of content are covered. General tips. Make a brief plan before you start. Where does your narrative begin, develop, and what is the outcome? And think about these 3 aspects of content before starting. It will also ensure that you write in the correct chronological order. The analysis required for higher marks tends to lead to language used like consequently as a result. This will help you analyse the links and not simply list the events one after the other. Keep within the date range. It will also prevent you wasting time with unrewardable material. And lastly, don't leave it blank. Give every question a go on the paper. That brings us to the end of this walkthrough video. Remember, we have videos for every question for each paper available. More information for students can be found on our website under Student Support. Good luck in your upcoming exams.